All right, guys, this is episode 6 of the Revlutn Podcast, and my name is Levi.
I'm Aidan McCormick, and today's gonna be a fun topic, really fun topic. We've been kind of silent though for the last 2 weeks. We were first at the Arnold, and then we recorded a podcast there. So currently that one's in production as we speak, but Levi's been focused on a really, really special project and been diving into that. So that's been a priority. And then I had spring break, so took some time, got some sun. So I look really dark next to him.
We have to bring the exposure down just on me.
So we haven't recorded in almost 3 weeks probably. It feels good to be back in the normal setup. I'm looking forward to today. We're going to be talking about running a business while on prep for a bodybuilding show. So mostly going to be about Levi, as I have not been on prep before, in terms of being low calorie and everything. So I'm just going to kind of do more of an interview style today.
Cool.
If you kind of want to start with like what your prep schedule was last spring, and just kind of like the routine that you were able to get into.
Yeah, so I guess one of the big things that I kind of needed to incorporate was making sure that I was hitting my diet every single day, making sure I was hitting my macros, making sure my cardio was on point and my training was on point. And one thing that really helped me was kind of writing everything down, getting everything in order, and also just having like my numbers already set for my macros. So once I got my numbers and everything set, it's kind of like smooth coasting. I was focused on just making sure I was hitting those little milestones every single day, and then eventually like got to my goal weights and all that stuff. While I was doing that, I was also running Revlutn Athletics, so we were getting prepared for a lot of launches and just making sure we're keeping up on content and stuff like that. So it was and on top of that, I was working a full-time job too. So I was kind of juggling so many other things at the same time. And on top of that, posting every single day when it came to a photo and also a reel for my personal brand as well. So it was definitely a grind, making sure I was getting all that stuff done every single day. I remember getting up super early I was getting up around like 7 o'clock-ish in the morning. And then I would do my cardio, and then I'd get ready for work from 10:30 to 7 p.m., which is really crazy, a crazy time schedule, because I was working for CarMax at the time selling cars. And that was like my time slot. And I worked Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I had like 2 days off a week. And I would, from there I would go to work from that time period to that time period, and then I would go to the gym around 7:30-ish and get my lift in and everything, and then I'd come back home and then edit all the footage that I took that night for the reel the next day, even the photos. So I wasn't going to bed till like maybe midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I would just wake up and do it over and over again. And I just remember it wasn't really, I wouldn't say it was like a hard period of my life, but it was definitely, I looked forward to getting that footage and coming home and like going through all of it, going through all the pictures and video and stuff like that, so I can make all this content for the next day. So honestly, I thought it was super fun. It sucked some nights, but I got into this rotation of just like making sure that I was like doing every single thing. And if I didn't post the next day, then I wouldn't have the exposure, or I wouldn't be like, focused on my goal and stuff. So just discipline came into that, and just making sure that I was doing it every single day and didn't miss one. So, and I did it for about a year straight of just posting 2 times a day, posting on my story, sharing my journey, and then, all the other endeavors that I was working on at the same time. So
how did you juggle what you should allocate your time to?
Oh man. I would say the hard thing was that making sure that I was giving enough time to Rev, I was giving enough time to myself. Ultimately, like I didn't really give too much to myself personally, because I was just on the go. I was just focused on that one mission, and that was to continue to spread my word and post as much as possible and share my journey and try to inspire as many people as possible. So allocating time to each one, I'm sure I didn't probably do the best job at doing it. I was definitely focused more on my personal brand, because hopefully that would have influenced Revlutn Athletics and grow that even more, just based off of my platform. Because brands and stuff, it's very hard to grow unless you have like an actual person that's representing it, that's like big in the fitness space or just big in the industry. So I was definitely a lot more focused on like my personal brand, and then prep and all that stuff. So I think that did kind of hinder the growth of Revlutn a bit, which I'm trying to kind of convert all of that, I guess, recognition from my personal account onto my business. So that's kind of the main goal right now, is try to project that out there and grow Revlutn to be, something huge. So
what was the biggest challenge that you faced in terms of like getting a routine down? Like, was there a time at the start of prep, was there like a time where you didn't really know what you were doing yet in terms of balancing things, or was it like, or did you just kind of jump in and immediately kind of have like, all right, this is like, I've worked from here to here, rep from here to here, gym from here to here, prep stuff from here to here? Yeah,
so I never really had like a time slot on like what I needed to do like in a certain time. I just always had, this is probably not the healthiest way, but one thing after, like, I just had a list of things, and it's like, if I got it done, I got it done. If I didn't, then I'd carry on to the next day, or what do I need to work on to kind of, make up for this, or however. I think a majority of the stuff that took a long time was the design aspect. Designs, you could look at this shirt, for example, or this shirt, for example. This shirt took a while to design. So, I mean, me and Rain put hours into designing products. I mean, yesterday we were on a phone call for freaking 5 hours trying to design one thing. We didn't even get it done. So, and on top of that, we're learning still. So we're learning on what's going to grab people's attention, what's going to be more innovative. And we're trying to think of that one shirt that tells a story, but also because most of our clothing needs to tell a story. And the reason behind that is because when someone's wearing this, it's like a marketing like symbol for us. So if someone's wearing this shirt, it catches someone's eye. It's a head turner. So we wanted to make sure that every piece was definitely, I guess, we put a lot of attention towards specific pieces that we're working on. So that was definitely something that it takes a long time to get a good like collection ready for most of our drops. So that was probably one of the kind of like struggles at the beginning too, is kind of allocating that much time towards that. Training, eating, all that shit was super easy because I've done it multiple times before. And energy levels this time were way better because before I was working some really physical jobs. I was lifting a lot of heavy weight. I was walking around. I was going to so many buildings and stuff for work that it was hard for me to get, not hard to get enough food in, but I was very on my feet the whole time, and I expended a lot of energy to where it was just difficult. So, but this go around, I was very much working from home. I was, I had not my own schedule, but it was just more structured that way. And I could kind of like relax and be on the computer and like do these things, which I was very fortunate to have for this last show. So, yeah.
So for those who don't know, Rain is our designer, and he's he's not in the States, he's in the Netherlands. So how, like, having to manage the time difference, obviously you've had to do that the entire time working with him, but is that any different during prep, or is it just kind of always the same struggle?
I really see our conversations as just like any other business meeting. So managing times, yes, that sucks, but usually it sucks more for him because it's at night, and he's calling me like super late at night, and I'm just waking up. So I'm waking up, or I'm already like done with breakfast, and then we get on a call for 4 or 5 hours. So it's more strenuous on him. So I don't really have much issues with that, but yeah, I mean.
Yeah. So during prep last year, we were working on the statement collection, which you're wearing, one of the shirts, and then it launched pretty closely after your show.
April, yeah.
Do you want to kind of dive into? You kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but just dive really into how working on that, putting the whole marketing plan in action, because that was really our first big launch that we did as a team.
With a lot of people, yeah.
We coordinated models, we coordinated the whole deal. We had a whole
Well, you wrote that whole we
had a whole manual of locations. We did it down to the T of everything. We had a whole, we had 3 tables in here, packaging orders for 4 or 5 hours until 4 a.m. And then packaged every order that came in on drop day the next day. But how was working on that collection, planning that, doing something that you hadn't done at that scale before, while also doing a show at a level you've never done before?
Yeah, so I'd have to say that was probably, I always think back of that summer or around that April-ish time when we launched that. That was probably by far my favorite moment with Revolution, was where we all just kind of band together, worked together, and it was right after the show, and after having all that support from the show and then carrying that over into Rev, it really made me appreciate all the people that are around me. So, and after going through this strenuous cut and just losing all this weight and then stepping on stage and then having this amazing turnout, and then kind of translating that into Revolution and doing this launch, it was pretty powerful to see everyone kind of come together and people really truly believe in the vision. So I was kind of just feeding off of that, and it was a fun experience to kind of enjoy that with every single person. Yeah, so with kind of doing, or just kind of getting everything ready for the launch and stuff, we actually held back pushing or we held back from doing the launch when I was on cut until after, so we can truly focus on getting all of the marketing material, all those photos and everything that we needed to kind of like project us, because that launch was definitely an iconic one that gave us enough cash flow to be able to fund launches right after. And I feel like that was kind of like the pinnacle of like how we kind of like changed and kind of like kind of catapulted us into the future of what I want to see for Revolution is more of a team building, more of a team atmosphere instead of just like me and like a couple other people. Every single person that's like a part of the team is valuable to the growth of Rev, and we can't do it without any of them. And truly, like I don't even want to. So
yeah. All right. Pros and cons of running a business on prep.
Pros and cons. Pros, you're freaking shredded. You're shredded for all the photo shoots and stuff that you need for to market the products, which is kind of cool. Cons, I mean, there's more pros. I mean, when you're cutting or about to step on, or like you're kind of going through that stage, like you can wear your own stuff. Like you don't have to wear like Gymshark or any of these other brands because you have your own stuff. You're representing your own brand, which is super cool. Cons, I feel like the energy levels were super low, and sometimes frustrations are very, my triggers are super quick. Like I can get super mad or super irritated super quick when I'm like super low on food, and that could be terrible in a business atmosphere. So you gotta pull your tongue, man. And you know, my girlfriend's definitely felt the end of that a lot, and then you know, some close friends and just team members as well. So just trying to kind of I don't know, level yourself out and be like, it's really not that crazy. Like you're making it, your mind is playing tricks on you. So I think that was probably the hardest thing, was kind of keeping my mind in check. But I've definitely gotten better throughout the years of, you know, doing shows. Because my first show, like I was a dick. Like I was mean. This third one, I kind of had it more in control. But a lot of people understood too, like you're literally hammering your body, training, and then you're not eating. It's like you're in the wilderness and you have no food and you have no means to kill an animal. You're screwed. So that's, if you haven't really been through it, it's hard to like understand like what you're going through. Cause I remember this like crazy. So I was working for this medical equipment tech and this position, and I was talking to my supervisor one day, and cause he called me into the office and he's like, Levi, you have to get your attitude in check. Like this is just too much. And I was like, man, you know, I'm going through this cut and stuff. Like, I apologize for like, you know, how I've been treated. And he's like, well, it's just like, you know, you got to really like keep this in check. Like, this is not good for, you know, you, it's not good for our brand and all this stuff. I was just like, in my head, I just wanted to like choke him out, to be honest. Like, I was so freaking mad because I was like freaking Homer Simpson and Bart, because he just didn't understand like where I was coming from. So, and I definitely snapped at him a lot because I truly didn't like him either. So he was kind of an asshole. So yeah, if you haven't really been through it, it's hard to explain how you feel besides, it's not the same as I'm hungry. I've been hungry for the last 4 or 5 hours. I haven't eaten 5 hours or whatever. Like, you haven't eaten actual sustenance food for months. That's what it feels like. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember we were training. I think we were doing our leg days, and our leg days last spring were something else.
That shit was wild.
It was. We had a good. Our leg days were usually about four or five of us. We'd get there like 8, and then warm up, treadmill, and then go destroy our legs. And I remember we were doing walking lunges, which is one of the staples of our leg days. And you were pretty low cal. This is probably 3 or 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
And it was like right before you're about to refeed. And so you're at like 1200 maybe. And you were so pale and like ghostly at the start of that workout. And then at the end.
I think I had like Epitome Hardcore. I'm going to plug them right now. Nutrinovations. I took everything. Like 24-hour pump, pump therapy at the time, Epitome Hardcore, and I took a full scoop of it, everything. And I feel like, this is like right when I got sponsored by them. So like I was taking all this stuff and my body wasn't used to it. And especially that amount of caffeine, that's like 400 milligrams caffeine. So, and I thought I was good with caffeine. Not with that. That shit's like on a whole nother level. Not to knock it. Like, I love the product. I won't take anything else because it is the best. But I took all that and I was just super like, I just was
he
not
was a
feeling
ghost.
good.
I mean, like you looked in his eyes and there wasn't anything there. And he like sat down against the wall while we were doing lunges. And I just remember looking at him, I was like, that man is like at his limit and can't go further. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't just like, I feel like we didn't just see the attitude toll. We saw it just like, even when you wanted to give effort, like your body just physically couldn't.
Yeah, my body was at its limit. I mean, I think I never got my in-body scanned, but I mean, I did at the beginning, and I could tell you right now, I was probably sub 5% body fat. I think that kind of, I mean, there was the only ounce of fat that was on me was probably on my ass cheek. So.
Yeah, it was, you got and part of it too was the fact that you had done that prep. You'd gotten stage ready basically, had a show canceled, you didn't have time to like do a whole recomp.
No,
and then went into another cut. So it was,
I just kind of coasted for those like 3 months while the other show got canceled, and then I just honestly, I think I had one burger right after because I was pissed, and then I went back on the next day and just like continued to like, just grind it out. And I mean, I remember just honestly, I just got in this groove where I was like, man, good content. I'm shredded. I feel good. Like, I wasn't, up until four weeks out, I legit like hated, like not hated, but it's just like, I hated how I felt. Like I wasn't 100%. I didn't feel healthy. But before that, I could stay shredded. I could stay, very fit and stuff. That's just how my body type is. I'm I'm an ectomorph. So like, it was just like, I could stay lean and feel good. But when you kind of hit that, you go over that threshold and you're like, you start to feel like shit. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's past what your body's supposed to be at. So it's telling you, hey, and like, stop.
Yeah. And then like test levels drop exponentially. So like, I was very, like, I could tell you right now, I was probably freaking 100 per deciliter. Like my test levels were. So like, but I mean, before, like after my show, I tested myself, and I think it was like 3 months after, and it was around like 945-ish, which is pretty crazy because like I was 28 at the time, so just turned 29 last August, so it's pretty crazy for, you know, not how old I am, but how much older I am than when I did start, so.
Yeah. So you have a show coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, so I'm cutting right now, and I'm going to be doing the Branch Warren Classic, which is May 6th, and I started cutting about 3 weeks ago, like right when we got back from the Arnold, and I'm down about 6-ish pounds. Honestly, guys, my head is just not 100% into the show. I have a lot more other things on my mind that I'm kind of working on, business ventures and stuff. So I'm kind of just like coasting right now. If I do decide to step on stage, I will. But it was good to kind of get back on a schedule where I was eating at home, I was eating my macros and like just going through those stages, getting in that cardio, everything that I needed to do to kind of like get back into a recomp stage. Because before, like when I went to Ohio, like you could tell like I literally had like a little bit of a stomach. It was just like a sliver of fat over my stomach, and I just felt blah. But it's all gone now. Like just switching up my diet a little bit, eating at home, making sure I'm weighing everything out, doing my cardio, everything like that. It was gone like that. So I kind of needed that structure in my training and in my diet. So, but we can't really talk about it right now with the things that we are working on for Revolution. So just know it's huge. It's going to be something that's going to really elevate the company as a whole and change our local presence, but also like hopefully change Colorado and just the fitness industry through social media and all that stuff. So it's going to be a very powerful and life-changing thing for me personally, but also for everyone that's involved and everyone that wants to be a part of it. So just know like there's big things coming. You just can't announce it right now. So
yeah. So I mean, it already kind of sounds like this prep's going to be different than
it's definitely
previous.
going to be different. Yeah.
So I feel like last prep almost came first, or like prep and rev are at the same level.
Yeah.
And if something had to drop, rev dropped a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like now rev is a lot higher in priority for you.
Very.
Is that, do you think, just where rev is, or is it where you have kind of, is it like you've done the show, like you proved yourself that you can compete and you can win a show, so it just doesn't feel like you don't have the same fire in it anymore? Or
Yeah, I feel like for the show, I was doing it solely just based to inspire, just to get people, you know, on stage, or just get people more involved in, you know, starting their own ventures and stuff, just showing that it is possible to, you know, go from this to this. And now I feel like I was just going to do it for views. I was going to do it for subscribers, or just something to show a story. Because storytelling is very huge in social media. It's one of the things that helped me grow the last prep of just like going through the whole process. So I feel like I was doing it for the wrong reasons this go around. So I'm kind of waiting on specific things to see if we're going to fully invest all my time into Revolution, or kind of do both at the same time. Just trying to kind of feel it out, and I'm sure I'll figure that out in the next week or so. And Todd wants to make an appearance since he hasn't already. So Toddy, come here. Oh, Oh, turn around. Turn around.
Don't show the camera your butt, bro. They want to see your beautiful face.
Hello, my name's Tiny Mamas.
Yeah, I do have a voice for my dog. Who doesn't? So this is Todd. If you guys are just tuning in,
The voice fits him.
the ASMR, like with the but yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of all we have today. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope today's episode is kind of a little different than our previous ones.
Yeah, more of an interview style.
More interview style, just more insight into Levi's experiences and just what he's learned from running Rev, being on prep, being a bodybuilder, being in the fitness industry. So kind of my vision for the podcast is more of these style episodes and just trying to bring y'all as much insight and information as possible. And we're going to hopefully have some guests on soon.
Yep.
Those are in the works. So
And a better setup too.
So we're not just like I don't have to turn my head to the left to look at
It's going to be more of an interview style where we have two chairs here, something in the middle. Something that's going to be more of like I'm literally speaking to Aidan instead of like going like this or talking to a camera and stuff like that. We want to make this way more professional and more of an actual podcast. So
so we thank y'all for sticking with us while it is in the bare bones.
Exactly.
But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed today. Go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. Follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Leave a like, leave a rating, leave a comment, whatever. Give us feedback. We love hearing it. So
perfect.
All right.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Be the outcast.